Okay, this is a short video I'm going to do about the evidence that was presented this past week during the preliminary probable cause hearing. Um, I used ChatGPT near the end, and I asked it the question if it would be able to help me with the statistical probability of guilt versus innocence. And it said that it could. Now, I'm not like a statistical expert on anything, but I do have my JD. I have a law degree. It's an actual law degree. I'm not making this up. I have a JD from SMU. I'm not a licensed attorney, however, only because I didn't pass my bar exam. That doesn't mean that I couldn't have passed the bar exam if I had perhaps tried harder. But anyway, I have a law degree. I have 15 years of experience in criminal defense as a paralegal or a legal assistant. So this is what I wrote down, like in ChatGPT. This took me about 5 minutes to type, and then I saved it and I printed out, like, or copied and pasted what ChatGPT was saying about everything. So I input more than 30 pieces of evidence against Tyler Robinson into an AI and asked if it could do a statistical analysis of the likelihood of guilt versus innocence based on the evidence. So I'm not saying I know ChatGPT to be correct all of the time, but I found this interesting, and that's the only reason I'm sharing this. It says the result based on my input, that means the combined evidence would be roughly 2.5 billion times more likely under guilt than under innocence. So these are the pieces of evidence I input. The case is State versus Tyler Robinson in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Number 1, video evidence of Tyler being on campus from sometime just after 8 a.m. until approximately 1:20 a.m. the next day 4 separate times. Number 2, video of Tyler jumping off the roof within seconds of the shot being fired and fleeing while holding on to something in his hands that looks like a long rifle weapon wrapped in a towel. Number 3, Ring or other home surveillance camera footage of Tyler parking briefly on a neighboring street that night while driving around. Number 4, video surveillance of Tyler eating at Chick-fil-A on campus prior to the shooting. Number 5, Tyler arrives, then leaves, and returns and leaves, and arrives again to and from a parking garage in a different parking lot on campus 3 different times before the shooting. Number 6, Tyler talks to Turning Point USA prior to the shooting, asking questions about when Charlie will be there. Number 7, a video of someone on the roof laying down just before the shooting. Number 8, Tyler changes outfits to conceal a weapon and change his appearance. Number 9, Tyler walks with a limp with something down his pants after changing clothes. Number 10, his roommate is a trans gay lover of Tyler, and Tyler left a confession note and sent a confession text to him. Number 11, Tyler returned home and admitted he did it to Lance Twiggs, confirming the note and the text. Number 12, Lance Twiggs, the roommate, handed over the text and Discord chats of Tyler's confession to law enforcement. Number 13, DNA evidence on the rifle, bullets, towel wrapping the rifle, all linking Tyler and his lover to the towel. Number 14, shoe imprints on the scene from the shooter matching his shoes. Number 15, matching bullets corresponding to those found in the weapon were found in Tyler's home. Number 16, engravings on the bullets found in the weapon and at Tyler's house matching in handwriting and theme. Number 17, engravings on bullets have cryptic messages relating to trans furry lover saying notices bulge, which is a furry trans meme. Number 18, DNA on the Dremel drill used to engrave the bullets matches Tyler and Lance. Number 19, a confession to his parents, a confession to a neighbor or friend of the family. Number 20, confession to the Discord chat. Number 21, still photographs of Tyler on campus released by the FBI were identified by his own parents. And here I make this comment that if I see a photo of one of my family members wearing sunglasses and a hat, I can immediately tell that that is my family member. This is true for me personally with, like, whether it's my husband, whether it's my dad, whether it's my ex-husband, somebody I haven't seen in probably 15 years, or my grandpa, somebody I haven't seen since the 90s. I'm gonna know that's my family member, even if it's grainy, even if it's sunglasses and a hat. Number 22, his own parents convinced him to turn himself in rather than commit suicide. Number 23, Tyler confessed to the law enforcement officers at the station. Number 24, ballistics linked the bullet fragments retrieved from autopsy to the casing in the rifle and the intact cartridges in the rifle, as well as those found at Tyler's home. Number 25, there was a line of sight from the position of the shooter to the location of Charlie Kirk, the same as where Tyler was seen. And there was no line of sight from the position where a separate bullet was located on a different building. That bullet was accounted for as a law enforcement officer bullet from clearing a personal gun. And it wasn't even a 30-06, it was a different kind of weapon. No other bullets were located on campus. 26, Tyler on campus after midnight or around 1:20 a.m. trying to retrieve his rifle from a wooded area, but the cops already had it. Text messages corroborate this, along with Tyler coming into contact with the officer on campus. 27, fingerprints on the weapon and on campus. I don't know specifically what's going to be introduced regarding this, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume that they're going to have some fingerprints at trial. Number 28, car tracking data. This was alluded to at the preliminary hearing. I'm sure they're going to have it at trial, and I'm sure they're going to try to introduce it. Number 29, cell phone tracking location and time data or metadata from sent messages. That's probably going to be introduced at trial. I can't see a reason why it wouldn't be. Number 30, metadata proving where Tyler Robinson was when he sent the text and Discord chats. What I'm saying here is that if they can prove that Tyler was in possession of his cell phone and he was located in Orem when he sent a message to Lance Twiggs, who was in St. George, it's going to show up on the metadata. It's going to prove, like, this phone was in this location at this time when this text message was sent. 31, alternative theories that he was framed by the CIA or FBI or Mossad or Erica Kirk or a second shooter or an exploding microphone or the security team from Charlie Kirk or a drone shot him. I didn't put my alternative theories into the chat GPT because I was only asking it to evaluate the likelihood of guilt versus innocence based on the true evidence that was presented, and I didn't want to make it look at the alternative theories, but I'm just going to go ahead and read my comments on the alternative theories anyway. So I have some problems with the alternative theories. Someone on my Facebook page responded to me posting the text messages that they showed on the video that were recovered from Lance Twiggs' phone. And she said, that's so weird because young people don't ever talk like that, and the Spider-Man theory is fake. And so I don't follow Candace Owens, so I don't understand how people think that he didn't climb down and jump down from the building when it's on video. But anyway, are the text messages weird? Maybe a little bit. And this is my response to that. Tyler Robinson may have been making small talk with his lover to communicate that he was okay and still alive. If there was collaboration or foreknowledge, which there could have been. The conversations don't seem that natural, but Lance Twiggs may have wanted to cover his involvement or foreknowledge. However, Tyler Robinson has a criminal mind. He's a Dungeons & Dragons player. He spends his time on video games. And he's in a relationship with a trans furry. Trans furry people and their lovers are not normal people. And they don't always speak normally. Simply because he calls him my love isn't really that big of a deal. Here in Utah, people say that all the time. Even casually, even coming from people who barely know me, I've heard people say this to me. Okay, it was Israel although I'm like not anti-Israel in any way, I think that if you're gonna just claim it was Israel just because you don't like Israel or you think Israel was mad at Charlie, like you're gonna need some sort of evidence. Also, if this had been a professional hit job, why would they leave so much evidence? That doesn't make any sense. Like with JFK, there was like hardly any evidence, and that's why it was so hard to solve. So I feel like if it had been a professional job, it would have left less evidence. Um, I don't think that Israel had a motive to kill Charlie Kirk. Okay, it was an exploding mic. Well, the autopsy recovered bullet fragments, and the wound was on the left side of Charlie's neck. There's no image of anything causing any sort of wound, and there's no blood on the right side of his neck, but that mic was on the right side. So please explain how a mic on the right side explodes and doesn't leave any wounds in the flesh on the right side of his neck. So the FBI or the CIA did it. Okay, not a very professional job if they did it. Maybe Tyler was their MK Ultra patsy, but why would they want Charlie dead? Why not send a less sloppy patsy? I feel like this was just like a totally unexpected random assassination. Obviously, nobody was expecting this to happen. It's not like Charlie was the president. He might have been very famous, but famous people don't just get assassinated all the time just because someone doesn't like their opinion. So I know it's hard to accept that someone might be able to pull this off, but murders happen all the time. And because they're so unexpected, most people don't take enough precautions. So the last paragraph is just that I've had to go through some experiences where I had an ex who was stalking me. He identified as a woman in the closet, and his messages and stalking were very bizarre, and some of the things that he would send me were super sick and disturbing. So I don't think it's really out of character for this to happen when somebody's already extremely mentally ill, which it sounds like Lance Triggs and Tyler Robinson might have been extremely mentally ill. This is what ChatGPT did with this, and I'm not claiming that I know ChatGPT to be good with statistics, but I'm just going to read it anyway. It says, a statistical analysis of this evidence should not count every allegation separately because many items overlap. The proper method is to group related evidence into independent categories and then estimate how much more likely each category would be if the accused were guilty than if the accused were innocent. This is a Bayesian likelihood ratio analysis. The first category is presence, planning, and opportunity. The second category is the alleged rooftop conduct and escape. The third category is the physical and forensic evidence. The fourth category is ballistics. And the fifth category is digital evidence. The sixth category is alleged admissions and confessions. So I'm going to post this below my video so you can go through it yourself and read what it put, but I don't really know how to tackle debating if this is accurate, but I'm just going to post what it thought and you can discuss. So it took the different increased likelihoods and multiplied them, and it came up with 2.5 billion. So it says that means the combined evidence would be roughly 2.5 billion times more likely under guilt than under innocence, assuming the categories are sufficiently independent and the evidence is accurately described. Even starting with an extremely low prior probability, such as one guilty person among 100,000 possible people, the guilt would be approximately a chance of 1 in 25,000 that he's innocent. 2.5 billion to 99,999 likelihood that he's guilty. And then it says the strongest conclusion is therefore not that mathematics proves guilt. It is that if surveillance, forensic evidence, ballistics, digital records, and confessions are all authentic and independently corroborated, the innocence hypothesis would have to explain several unrelated evidence systems failing or being fabricated at the same time. Alternative theories, such as a second shooter, a government frame-up, a drone, an exploding microphone, or planted evidence, do not meaningfully increase the probability of innocence unless they are supported by affirmative evidence. A competing hypothesis must explain the same surveillance, forensic, digital, ballistic, and confession evidence, at least as well as the guilt hypothesis. Under the presumptions above, a defensible Bayesian estimate would place the probability of innocence well below 0.1% and potentially below 0.01%. That is an illustrative statistical model, not a scientifically measured fact or a substitute for the legal requirement that guilt be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So, I'm only posting this because I went on Facebook and looked at the people who are claiming that Candace Owens is right, even after watching that hearing, and I can't understand. So, here's some stuff for you guys to talk about.